Man, this year's nominations for the Golden Globes is just ridiculous. Everything is so evenly matched. There's so many deserving nominees, especially in the female category. All the female categories is just crazy competitive. So this is Best Television Female Actor, Limited Series, Anthology Series, or Television Motion Picture. It's a lot. So we have Cate Blanchett, the wonderful Cate Blanchett, in Disclaimer. Jodie Foster, the return of Jodie Foster in True Detective Night Country. My personal favorite, she might not win, Cristin Milioti in The Penguin. Sofia Vergara in Griselda. Naomi Watts in Feud, Capote versus the Swans. This is a Ryan Murphy project. And Kate Winslet with The Regime. I think that's the HBO series. Kate Winslet is actually up for 2 different awards. She's up for her role in Lee, which is a movie. So she's a double nominee, but she might lose both. We do not respect Kate Winslet for the beautiful, great actress she is, man. Kate Winslet should have, Kate Winslet, when she goes to her home, should have like just awards upon awards upon rewards. But I think she has a handful of rewards, but she doesn't have as much as she should. Go watch Internal Spotlight of the Sunshine Mind. I watched that recently. She's great in it. Titanic is always on. You're always reminded of that. But even after that, she was great in that. Fassbender did his version of Steve Jobs. There was a bunch of Steve Jobs movies that was out. Fassbender had one. She was great in that. It's always funny when she drops into an American accent. She's so good in that. Kate Winslet's so good, but I don't think she's going to win for The Regime. Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett is probably one of the best actresses of her generation. She's very sweet. She reminds me of like a younger Helen Mirren. There is just she's very elegant. She has a potty mouth at times. She's very playful, but she's excellent. Her role when she was in Thor Ragnarok overall was a great comic book movie. It was fantastic. And when she played Helena, first of all, I didn't even recognize her. She had like a Beyonce walk. It was all super confident and sexy. But underneath all that dark makeup and all this, I had no clue that was Cate Blanchett. She was so good in that movie, man, and so good that I wish that she would have returned in some form because she was a wonderful villain. But for Disclaimer, Cate Blanchett has a chance of winning, but I don't think there was enough buzz off that show for her to win. I think there was probably more buzz off The Regime than Disclaimer, maybe. But it's always good to see Cate Blanchett. It's always good to see her. That's a fantastic table of actresses here. Jodie Foster for True Detective Night Country. True Detective, for me, this is probably the best season of True Detective since the first season with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, which is over 10 years now, I think. I almost wish those two would come back and do a second season of True Detective and maybe de-age them so we can see them again. That first season was so good. The second season, even though Rachel McAdams was in it, and I really enjoyed Rachel McAdams. I think Vince Vaughn was in that. It wasn't as good. It was too overblown. But Jodie Foster with this version of True Detective Night Country, it's probably the second best season since the first season. And Jodie Foster does this thing where Jodie Foster just disappears. Because the world of cinema and TV is so much better with Jodie Foster in it. But Jodie Foster is always a person who just kind of, I remember when she was at the peak of her acting abilities in her late teens, early 20s, and she decided to go to college. And I think because she started off so young, she was like, 13 when she was in Taxi Driver? And I think she was on Little House on the Prairie. I think she started acting when she was a little kid. So I think after a while, because she acted for so long, I think she gets burnt out and she just enjoys life. But when she does stuff like True Detective, you just reminded like, oh yeah, this is why she's great. And this is why we need her. So she has a shot of winning. Because I don't think Jodie Foster's ever won an Emmy before. She has an Oscar, but I don't think she has an Emmy. So, I mean, I'm sorry, a Golden Globe for TV. So there's a shot that Jodie Foster could win this thing because she did win the Emmy, I believe. So she has a good shot of winning. I love Cristin Milioti in The Penguin and Sofia Falcone. I love her. What she did in that role. The best episode is the backstory of Sofia, where she went from this sweet mob princess daughter to this murderous chick. Man, she's so good in that show. The New York accent she has in it, the way she, everything about her, the scenes when they first took him to Arkham Asylum, so it was horrifying. She's a sexy chick. She's a smooth chick. I love her so much. Will she win it though? That Jodie Foster, that's a monster. People love Jodie Foster, but I love Cristin Milioti in that role. Sofia Vergara and Griselda. I think she proved to a lot of people that she can really act. I think she wasn't the playful, flirty Latina that's basically her, right? Like as we saw in Modern Family, she actually showed like, hey, I can do something else. She used prosthetics and all that stuff to make her look different, and she got a lot of really good reviews from that. And I made a video where another Golden Globe video. I talk about Pamela Anderson, where she probably never thought that she'd be in the same category of a lot of these different women. If you told Sofia Vergara that she'd be in the same category with Cate Blanchett and Jodie Foster and Kate Winslet, it's like, oh no, that that would never happen. But she is, so that's amazing. And including Naomi Watts. I've always liked Naomi Watts. Naomi Watts is one of those people who, by the end of her career, you look at her film work and TV work. It's like, oh wow, she's really an underrated actress. I think that hurts. The thing that I think has always hurt Naomi is that she's very attractive, and I think people sometimes can't get past that, and they don't see the depth of her acting. So Naomi Watts in Feud, Capote versus the Swans, it probably wasn't the most popular of the Ryan Murphy shows. But overall, it actually was actually a pretty decent show. It just didn't get the same type of buzz that like maybe the Menendez show got. But Naomi Watts was good in it. So of these women that's nominated, I want Cristin Milioti to win. Because I think her and Sofia Falcone was fantastic. But man, that Jodie Foster is just sitting there. And Jodie Foster, we don't know when or if we ever see Jodie Foster again. She will act again. We just don't know when. We might not see Jodie Foster again to the next Olympics in 2028. So the Golden Globes might say, you know what? We might not see Jodie Foster for another 3 or 4 years. We're going to give it to you for True Detective, even though it was an excellent show. She was excellent in it. She richly deserves it. So I can. It's not like it's undeserved. It's very deserved. So if she wins it, that's great. But man, I'm really pulling for Cristin Milioti because that Penguin series was so good. It was so good. Her and Colin Farrell deserved their nominations. And I think this is probably Milioti's first nomination because I don't think she got nominated for The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't think she got that. But man, this is like, even for her, just like Sofia Vergara, like she's at the same room with Cate Blanchett and Jodie Foster and Kate Winslet and Naomi Watts. Like if you're Milioti, it's like, wow, how did I get here? So my heart wants Cristin Milioti for the Penguin. But if I'm thinking like the voters, I think it's Jodie Foster. But don't count out Cate Blanchett. And even Kate Winslet, like she's a double nominee. And they might say, you know what, we're not going to give it to her for Lee in the film category, but we might give it to Kate Winslet for the TV category because she is nominated for twice. This is a tough category. So if all these ladies in this category, who do you think will win or who do you think should win? And if all these shows, disclaimer, True Detective Night Country, The Penguin, Griselda, Feud, Capote versus the Swans, and Regime, which one is your favorite?